Hey everyone, Paul Johnson, Waconia, Minnesota, and the Laughing Trout Fly Tying Club. Today I'm going to be tying my Orange Scud. So we have scuds in almost all of our streams and lakes, and they're one of the favorite food that our fish eat year round. I tend to fish this fly a little bit more in the winter than I do in spring, summer, or fall, but certainly is a good year-round option. Kind of take a look at what we got going on here. So it's tied on a size 16 Scud hook, of course. For a tail, or pinchers probably would be more accurate, I have some mallard flank feathers that are dyed orange. The body and what becomes the legs is bighorn orange sow scud dubbing. There is a backing, scud back, a 1/8 inch latex scud back, and then a ribbing of small gold wire. So grab the hook and get it in the vise. Now I'm going to put a little bit of weight, extra weight in this, so I have some 0.015 lead-free wire. Just going to make a few wraps with that. Bust it off, and then I'll cut the tag end off. All right, for thread, I've got uni orange thread in size 8/0. Just get that started right behind the bead or behind the eye of the hook, no bead, and then kind of jump to the back, and then get that wire all tied in there. Certainly could put a drop of super glue in there if you so choose. So for the pinchers, or depending on which way it's going, I guess, the tail, got a little bit of that mallard flank. So I'll tie that in. Want it to be about a hook gap in length. And then I'm just going to wrap that down around the bend of the hook. One little tip, if you have trouble getting your tails the right length, you can just pivot your hook and your vise while you tie in your tail, and then put it back in position to finish the fly, but then you can see it a little bit better on these curved hooks. Next, I've got a piece of wire, so it's gold wire, size small. I'm going to tie that in on the near side of the hook, starting right behind that wire. And then I'm tying that latex scud back. If I can get a thread wrap over it. There we go, finally. All right, so wrap that down around the bend of the hook as well. Okay, now body is going to be dubbing. And let's take a few applications here to get the right amount. We want it to be shaped like a football, if you will, with its bit thicker in the middle and equal tapered on each end. So it's probably going to take 2 or 3 ropes, if you will. So get that to the back and then work my way back up to the front. Apply a little bit more. Work my way up. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to add some more dubbing in that middle of the fly. Build that up just a little bit more. All right, that should just about do it. I'm going to put a little bit more on there yet. This would be a good time for me to be able to figure out how to do fast forward. All right, so that looks pretty good, and I can kind of just brush it down, push it down. All right, I'm going to pull that scud back forward. I'm going to make a wrap of thread here, pull it tight, and I'm going to stretch that latex scud back forward a little bit. Couple wraps in front. Now I'm going to cut that off. Now, what I want you to do at this point is we're going to put a 1/2 inch in my tying thread, because if you start bumping that thread off the front, then that scud back pops off that you've got tied in, and it's just a nightmare to try to pick it up from there. So now we're just going to rib this with that wire Just want to get some even spaced wraps. The first one is a little bit tricky because it wants to slide around on you a little bit. You can see here too that scud back is pulling around when I pull the wire tight. So it's actually slipped around to my side of the hook. And we're just gonna put that back into position here. So I'll clip off that wire. Just gonna twist that whole fly around. All right. Come in, do the whip finish. All right, and then if you have a bodkin, or this one is kind of a 2-in-1, if you will, so I can just pick out some of those fibers underneath, and then a dubbing brush, and then that creates the legs on the fly. A little bit more in the front there. So how I typically will fish this, if I'm going to use an indicator, I'm going to put on a weighted fly first, you know, a Prince nymph or something like that, and then tie this a dropper off of that, so you know, maybe 18 inches or so below. So there it is, your finished orange scud. Thanks for watching.